pleasure to meet you again on this Sunday. Be welcome to Evening with Gelda program. Let me present you our guest today. She is Richa Anand. Richa is a dedicated teacher by profession, runs a coaching center at her place, endeavor to teach ethics and values of life to her students. She completed her graduation and post-graduation in English literature from Jammu University after the birth of her son. During lockdown, got time to think for her passion of writing, which she couldn't do in her routine life. She's feeling blessed to attend advancement of great luminaries of literature and get an opportunity to step into this beautiful world. Also, she's feeling thankful and blessed for becoming a mother of a doctor's son, pampered wife of a loving husband, living with her family in UT of Jammu and Kashmir, situated in India. By the grace of God and inspiration of her loving husband, Sanjay Anand, and her son, Dr. Sagar Anand, she pursues writing poems in Hindi and English. She feels poetry is a heavenly bliss which gives pleasure and contentment to both poets and readers as well. And she thanks God for everything. And I thank you for your presence here today. Let's start our interview, dearest. Richa, how did you first come into contact with poetry?
Good evening, ma'am. How are you? Actually, I was fond of reading books since my childhood. I love poetry. During lockdown, I came into contact with a lovely poetess, Gurjeet Kaur. She inspired me to write. I wrote my first poem in April 2020, and PWI was the first platform where I won my first certificate by Saraswati Postwalji, and the journey begins.
Which poets did influence your choice as poetess?
William Shakespeare, sir, John Keats.
Do you think that social networks help to spread poetry around the world?
Yes, of course. Social networks help to spread poetry around the world. It provides opportunities to all.
Say a poet in which you identify yourself when reading his or her writings.
Amrita Pritamji. She is a great inspiration to all women.
Do you think the pandemic favored or intensified the dissemination of poetry by holding online poetry and literary festivals?
Yes. Yes, the pandemic intensified the online poetry and literary festivals. Everyone sitting at home can take part in online competitions. This encouraged the spirits of all poets all over the world.
Which is your favorite poetry style?
Rhyme poetry. I would love to write that.
Tell us, where do you look for inspiration to write your poems?
That's my favorite question. I always look at my loving husband. He is my inspiration always and forever.
What's your goals about literary and poesy?
To pen down my feelings and emotions and make readers and myself contented and happy.
As a poet, have you found people who encourage or render your work?
Yes, I come across many people who discourage me. But I didn't mind that. And I always stay in a positive mode, and I keep on writing and writing in spite of all hurdles and objections.
Kindly, could you recite a poem of you for all of us now?
Yes, I would like to. I would like to recite one of my poems that I think you'd like. That title is Conversation with My Soul. Once in a blue moon night, in a deep slumber, I realized something is eccentric and peculiar. My soul stepped out of my body, starting conversing with me. She was speaking on behalf of me and keen to flee. It was exhausted with the agonies to endure. Her connection with the divine was not square. She preached me to be in association with the reverence. She was experiencing unbearable piercing wounds of severance. She wished for a spiritual association with Almighty. She desires to attain tranquility by embracing divinity. She preferred to part with my body to attain sensitivity. She preached me to be in association with the reverence. She was experiences unbearable piercing bonds of reverence. She wished to be spiritual association with Almighty. She desires to attain tranquility with embracing divinity. She preferred to part with my body to affect sensitivity. She believed in salvation through godliness and divinity. How could I allow her to leave? I still have many beautiful dreams to weave. As many of my desires were not gratified, I urged her to stay for some more time to get her beautified so that I can accomplish my commitments. She smiled at me and granted entrustment. Thank you so much.
Dearest poetess, I'm thankful you for your brilliant presence today. And guys, I wait for you in the next Sunday, okay? Bye-bye.